Before we close out the chapter and start getting into building applications, it's probably useful to do a quick overview of object-oriented programming. If you've already worked with object-oriented programming, you can skip this section. But for those of you that haven't, it's important that you understand a little bit about the fundamentals about object-oriented programming to best be able to utilize the .NET Framework 3.5. The point of this section isn't to provide a deep dive into the tenets of object-oriented programming, but instead provide a high-level understanding of the concept. We'll simply take a brief moment to understand the vocabulary of object-oriented design so that you can best utilize that vocabulary in chapters to come. Let's begin with a scenario. You're an architect of a large project. You get a requirement from your customer. I'd like an application that enables my employees to log in and view order data. They should be able to see the details for an order, such as when the order was placed, who placed it, the product ordered, and the quantity of the product ordered. My employees should also be able to view shipment information, such as when the order was shipped. So what happens in this scenario? You get this business requirement. How can you map this to classes, properties, and methods to use in .NET? Let's start with classes. Anything in that sentence that's a noun, for example, customer, employees, order data, product, these are all nouns. So customer, order, product potentially could be classes that you would use in your .NET project. Properties are more adjectives. So for example, quantity of product ordered is a descriptive term to describe the noun product. So you may wish to have quantity be a property of the class product. Methods are actions that you take on a specific class. For example, I might be able to add new order. Add new is a verb. It's an action that I would take on a specific object. So in this case, I would add new being a method of the object order. Likewise for customer, I may want to update customer information. So therefore, I would have an update method to my customer object. And lastly, events. These are behaviors or occurrences. For example, validated. After the data has been entered, you want to validate it. This is the behavior that you want to produce. Added, deleted. These are all events that have occurred specifically with either the user interacting with your application or the methods of your application interacting with another. A lot of times events tend to be system occurrences. For example, you might want to capture the event after an employee record is deleted so you can send a message to a human resources system. Likewise, user interface interactions are also events, such as the click of a button. In this case, an event is capturing the reaction of a user. Why should you use Visual Studio 2008 to write your .NET code? Certainly, you can write out your code in Notepad and use the command line compiler. However, you'd be missing out on a lot of the advantages that Visual Studio 2008 provides. As you saw in this chapter, some of these benefits include automatic code generation to complete the code that you begin to type, filtered and scoped IntelliSense to prompt you about the next variable that you're going to type in your expression, configuration wizards and code templates and design tools to help you build your projects out. We'll be reviewing these advantages and more throughout the series.